Okay, YouTube, this is the carburetor off my 78 Ford F100. It has a straight 6 in it, and the accelerator pump's not working. So I know at one point I took it apart, and I don't remember exactly what happened. It was like a certain part of it I couldn't get apart, so I think I kind of gave up on it. Bought one of those really cheap third world carburetors off of eBay, and now I think I'm going to try and rebuild this carb. Before it is I get a carb kit, I have to make sure to take down all these numbers. This says 7260S. Over here says 2655. It says made in USA. The only other thing I really see on this is manufactured by Carter for Motorcraft. So I guess this is all where I'm going to start with this. So I guess I'm going to start taking it apart. Take these 4 screws out of the bottom first. I might try and put some lube on those because it's pretty tight. So we'll let that soak on there, and then I'll move on. And I guess I'll lube the rest of them while I'm at it. Now if those are all lube, I'll give those a try. Okay, they came off pretty easy. I'm guessing I probably had this apart. Alright, the 7 screws are out of the top. Oh, and that came apart pretty easy. So this choke arm goes right down into this slot. Here's the gasket for it. Here's the float. And the float pin only comes out this way. And the float comes out. And then the needle. Well, there's 2 parts to this needle. And the spring. Not sure where this came out of. I'll have to figure that out. 3 or 4 years ago this carb was working. Okay. Seat's kind of a little bit loose. But again, I was into this carb, so I'm not sure if it's from that or not. Alright, that's the top off. Probably have to get that into some solvent. So I don't lose any of these small parts. I'm going to put them all in a bag. Now it's time to work on the lower half. Also, there's 4 screws down in here. So I just loosened these 4 screws, and I believe this looks to be the accelerator pump. Not sure, but it also looks like I need to get this plate off the bottom, and there might be a screw holding something up in there. So I'm going to take these off next. First I'm going to try them with a screwdriver. Alright, I guess it's time for a little heat. Alright, give that a try. And sure enough, a little bit of heat goes a long way. Never sure why. Sometimes I'm reluctant to use the heat. And then I use it and I always say, I wonder why I don't use it more. Alright, try a little heat on the next one. And there it goes. Looks like there was a bunch of goo on the threads on the last one I took out. I'm sure this one's no different. You can see it kind of coming out there. That's probably old dry gas or Loctite, one or the other. I'm going to guess and say that that's gas or oil or something. Look at all that. You can see it kind of bubbling. And oh yeah, I got to use heat more. It's just that simple. So it looks like it comes right off. Not sure what's holding it. Something's holding it. It's this little, there's a tang right here that goes into that piece that goes up to essentially, I guess, what is the accelerator pump. Hoping this would just come right off. I think what I have to do is take this off of here and then allow all this to move out. Alright, so the carburetor is upside down. I take this arm off. I take this piece off. It went on like that, and then this fork, hopefully I could just take, oh, this spacer, there's a wear mark in the spacer right where that arm comes in and out, and then hopefully, looks like there's a screw on top. Maybe I just can't take this arm off. Oh, it's an Allen head, and that's what I got to take off and move out. Okay, that wasn't super duper tight, which I'm a little surprised about. I'll back it out, gets that arm off, and that allows me to take this arm here, which faced essentially up, off of this. And there's a flat there for it. So I'm just going to put this back, go loosely tighten it down so the arm can't fall out. Then I'm going to put all these parts back on. So that'll allow me to keep everything together without losing it. And I can take this and clean this. Next thing I got to do is take this needle, take this idle mixture screw out, and that's for the air. It'll allow air. So I imagine as you turn it out, it allows more air and allows to lean out a little bit. So now if that's done, set that to the side. Of course, then you guessed it, put all the small parts into a bag. Last part of this is going to be the carb body, and that's going to be getting this accelerator pump. So it looks like it's these 4 screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, kind of coming out. Got this hose in here that has to come off first, I guess. Oh, okay. There's that. It's more of a pipe than a hose, I guess. This is what I believe to be wrong with this carburetor. It just felt like it had no accelerator pump. It died off the line. Okay, so this all has to come apart in order to replace that. I guess it's all one piece. So there's a tricky little setup here. I don't want to go too crazy, but it's got to come apart. So looks like you push this down and then back that out, and it should come right out. So let's try that. Okay, it's that little clip. Spring comes off. This piece comes off. Kind of see how that is. I hope. Okay, that comes apart. Okay, so this needle kind of sets down in here like this, kind of guides it. It's got a spring on it. Then you have this metal clip that goes on top of it, and then this piece. And there's also a little piece of rubber over here. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to try and get as much of this clean as I can. Then you got a washer. You have another one of these spring-loaded clips. This one's going to fall off. And then the spring. And then I guess the only other thing is get this hose off out of there, or leave that there. And then there's the diaphragm with the, and then there's a washer down here on this arm for the diaphragm pump. I'm going to take that off. Now that I have all those little parts bagged up, I see I have a jet here I got to get out. Pretty easy. There's that jet. That's going to need to be cleaned. Last thing I want to do is open this choke cover up and see how the element looks inside. Now, a lot of times these things get lined up, so I'm going to put a mark here and then put a mark right under the fuel inlet there. Make sure I can get them back together the right way. Well, that gasket's trashed, but the element looks good, so I'm sure that worked just fine. Alright, that comes apart. Kind of see how it works. Oh, it has a vacuum port that goes on here, and that as soon as the engine fires, it opens the choke a little right away. That's how that works. It sits here and then it fires, it'll open it a little bit, and then as the element heats up, it'll open it the rest of the way. Alright, get this all in the solvent tank, and next time you see it, it'll be all nice and clean.